Going on, guys? So today ZeniMax did the 2023 global reveal event for the upcoming chapter Necrom. There was a ton of information packed into this live stream, but I just wanted to make it a shorter version so you guys can get all the highlights and all the important details that I think you guys need to know. Do all the YouTube things, like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So the next class in ESO is called the Arcanist. Now before we deep dive into the class skill lines and the abilities and some of the mechanics, I just wanted to talk about visually of this class's appearance and what it looks like. And I gotta say, I mean, this class looks absolutely amazing. All the green effects, it has some really cool spells and abilities. And I'm just overall very pleased with the visual effects of this class. They look really fun to play. They have a lot of crazy cool effects. And I'm really excited to play this class. So the only sad thing is we won't be able to play Arcanist till after Q1 is over, and we're going into Q2 for the PTS. So the ideal time frame, when Necrom releases, is going to be June 5th for PC and June the 20th for console. So ideally, it'll be somewhere between April or May before we'll really be able to play this class and really test it and test out all of its functionalities. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty details of the Arcanist class. There is 3 skill lines, just like every other class, 3 basic class skill lines. And the first one is called Herald of the Tome, and I believe this one is for the offensive portion of their abilities. The next one we have is Apocrypha Soldier. This one I believe is for their defensive utility and typically like their buffs and whatnot. And then we have Creative Runeform, and this is going to be their healing tree, just like every other class has. Now we don't have all the information on the class skills and class passives as of yet, but we got a few sneak peeks. So after the ESO livestream finished, there was this extra article that went up on ESO's website that kind of explains some of the skills and some of the intricacies of the class a little bit more in depth, which they didn't actually explain on the livestream. And I wanted to share this with you guys. So the Arcanist class also introduces a new combat mechanic called Crux. As you activate certain Arcanist abilities, you generate Crux, which you can save up and spend when activating other specific abilities. The more Crux you generate before spending, up to a maximum of 3, the more your ability is empowered when you do spend it. How you utilize the Crux generating and spending abilities in combat rotations can have major impacts on your effectiveness, so plan accordingly. So this is one of the gameplay mechanics that the class is going to have to focus around and kind of build upon. It just appears that it's going to be an extra damage boost to certain specific abilities and skills, which is definitely going to be very interesting to kind of, line up burst combos and whatnot. I believe that the Crux is a little green triangles floating around the character. We don't exactly know how it functions and how it works just yet, but it'll probably have some similarity, something like Molten Whip, where you get 3 stacks whenever you use certain abilities, and then you get the extra enhanced version of the Molten Whip. Something similar like that is kind of how I envision it. To kind of go a little bit more in depth into the Herald of the Tome skill line, you can manipulate arcane energies to bombard your foes with damaging blasts, beams, and more. This includes active abilities such as Rune Blades, which launches lethal projectiles at your foes, generating Crux as you do. The Creative Runeform skill line, you can make use of your healing runes to keep your party or yourself alive, shield your allies from damage, and even help them navigate the battlefield via portals with the Apocryphal Gate ability, which summons a passage between worlds. And with the defensive aspect of the Apocrypha Soldier, a skill line that allows you to dominate your foe's attention, buff yourself or your party members' defense capabilities, and even conjure an explosive damage shield with Rune Spite Ward, which can be improved by Crux. So we got a little bit of extra tidbits here in this article that I thought were very interesting. The main one was the explosive damage shield with Rune Spite Ward, which sounds very, very similar to something like Blazing Shield on the Templar, which can also be improved by Crux, which is very interesting. So you're going to be able to get probably extra damage whenever you use certain abilities to be able to buff this skill. And it also appears, at least from this article, that you may be able to buff your allies' armor similar to like the Frost Cloak on the Warden. And also it says dominate your foe's attention, so there may be an inherent taunt on the Arcanist class as well for PvE. And one of my favorite abilities that I saw during the reveal was the Apocrypha Gate ability. Now this one allows you to basically teleport via portals. And there was some murmurs and some talk about, it was just kind of a joke at first, allowing your teammates to be able to teleport with you as well. And that actually isn't a joke. It is directly from ESO's website. They say that you can help them navigate the battlefield via portals with the Apocrypha Gate ability, which summons a passage between worlds. So this is going to be very interesting to balance out for PvP because it's now Streak for a ball group. And that's pretty interesting. There may be a cap on how many people can go through that portal, which would definitely hamper down on the ball group situation and problem, but this looks rather scary, at least at the surface, of just some speculation on my part. But the Apocrypha Gate looks really cool to play with. This skill is a mix between Shadow Image on the Nightbleed and Streak on the Sorcerer. It's basically a mix of both. It works just like Streak, with you have to visually look in a certain direction, you pop the portal down, and then you teleport to it, similar to a Shadow Image. Now, the worrisome aspects are for Zergs to be teleporting through these portals, and if you stack like 5, 6, 7, 8 Arcanists, can you go portal, 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 and not even have to run? Just portal spam your entire group as you continue to go? That's what at least looks worrisome to me. I wonder how they balance that, and that's probably, at least as it visually sits right now, the most problematic skill that I could see so far. So the next ability we have, I believe, is called the Abyssal Impact, and basically all this is like tentacles that shoot out of your arm. Now, the cool thing about this is, I think, it at least appears to be from the footage, it is providing a CC. So this may be potentially one of Arcanist's main CCs that they have in the game for PvP. So this is something to look out for. Definitely looks very interesting, and I think this animation looks really awesome. Just have to get into more testing, obviously, whenever we finally get our hands on it. So the next skill, I think, is called the Rune Blades. There's not a whole lot of information on this one. I think this may be one of the main spammables that the Arcanist has. So as of right now, that is pretty much all the information we have about the Arcanist class, and I'm sure as time moves forward and we get closer to the release date in June, we'll get a little bit more info then. Possibly, we may even get some more info on Friday. It's going to be another ESO livestream. I would say it's going to be showcasing the Scribes of Fate. That's going to be the next DLC that we get, and that's going to be releasing in March. And I would like to assume that's typically how it works at the Q1 DLC. So that Friday is the live stream, and then the following Monday, we typically get the PTS to test the next update. So keep an eye out for that as well. And for those that care, there's going to be 2 new companions released in this update. And as the last bit of big news, its Q4 DLC looks like it's going to be wrapping up with a new type of dungeon. It's going to be, it at least appears to be, an endless 2-man dungeon. At least that's what Rich Lambert at least led on to believe. We didn't get a whole lot of more information on that, but that definitely looks pretty interesting. Hopefully there's some good rewards in that, and it looks pretty cool, honestly. An endless type of dungeon, something that Call of Duty Zombies, but ESO sounds pretty cool. So what about PvP? Well, there was really nothing. It's kind of disappointing, honestly, but I don't think many of us were expecting anything. I mean, at the very least, I think we would have been pleased with a battleground map or some kind of variation of that. I think the BG events that we currently have are a failed system. I'm going to be talking about those in a separate video altogether. But yeah, there's really nothing for PvP, at least as it says right now for 2023. So yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks, but ESO really isn't a PvP game anymore, if we're being honest. The Arcanist may add some population to PvP to try out new builds and theory crafting and whatnot, just for a short while. Once, kind of all the hype dies down a little bit, it'll probably go back to the same way it currently is. Hopefully that the server upgrades in March for console and PC are actually work, and they actually increase your guys' performance. But I hate to say it, that PCNA's performance, especially in Grey House Primetime, ever since Update 36 hit, it has drastically changed. Update 35 was playable during prime time, but Update 36 ESO, it's kind of died down significantly, and that kind of has me worried for the future of performance in ESO. But as it says right now, guys, there's really no talk about PvP or any type of additions to new content at all. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Do all the YouTube stuff, like and subscribe. And if you want to join my Discord, the ESO PvP Academy Discord, it's built as a resource to help newer or returning players get back into PvP and improve your gameplay. That's going to be it for me, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.